Hey guys, I'm going to quickly go over this new Ice Climbers desync. That can be done from a walk, it can be done from standing. It's a very versatile desync for sure, but pretty difficult to do as well. So I'm going to go into the inputs. What it is just 2 frames and 2 separate inputs. And so for that very first frame, what you're going to want to do is just turn around with a walk. So as long as you're not doing a dash here and you're turning around, your first frame input should be correct. It'll look like this. You'll see one of the boots slightly raised on your main ice climber. And in the very next frame, you need a very specific angle. I'll show you guys what it looks like in a second. And you'll see 6 frames later, secondary ice climber jumps out. I can input whatever I want, shield, anything pretty much for my main climber, and then my second climber I can buffer blizzard or whatever it may be. So that's what it'll look like. Very simple inputs, but I'm going to go over what that looks like for an analog controller as well as on the Smashbox. So over here on the left, I just have an example of melee in the shield drop. It's sort of this small sliver right here. You see melee players consistently get the shield drop. Similar over here on the right is going to be this ultimate version where I have the special angle in this blue line that we need to get. And so just to describe what this is showing is all the different inputs that are on your analog joystick essentially. So on the very, very top right here is the max top, probably where your notch is going to be. And then the one over here, this green dot, is going to be your notch to the right. So then this green dot right here will be right in between, and that's going to be probably your notch if you're using a GameCube controller that's in between both of them. So this blue line is representing where we need to be. So what it'll look like on the analog control stick is going to be all the way to that middle notch in between right and up, or left and up if you're using the other side. And that'll start your walk animation. And then the very next frame, you need to bring it down to that very specific angle right here. It's not going to be easy, but if you got a notch set up or customize your controller to have a notch in that angle, it could be a lot more consistent and very doable. So now going into the Smashbox, a lot easier to execute for sure. These are the settings you're going to need. Is profile 1 default values is probably what your Smashbox firmware is going to actually show, and these are the settings: 128, 45, 211. It's the default ultimate settings, and then the modifier you need is 67. That's the magic number, and you can have it on a Y1, Y2, Y3, doesn't really matter. I have not gotten it to work on a tilt yet, so I would stick to the Y1. And what your input actually looks like is going to be an up and a right for your first frame to start that walking animation, or an up and a left if you're facing the other way. And then your second input is literally going to be up, right, including that Y1. Simple as that. So all you're going to do is these 2 on that first frame, and then these 3 on your second frame. Simple as that. That'll start the animation. You can actually hold it too for a few frames, and it'll still work completely fine. And that's pretty much about it. So I'm going to show a couple videos of some examples, some showcases of it, as well as me practicing it. But yeah. Alright, and that pretty much wraps up the clips. Obviously, there's plenty more that this tech can do, and I'm sure Ice Climbers community will grab hold of it and show really what it has to fully showcase in terms of a neutral aspect as well as combo game. I do want to give a quick shout out to Warabimoti and Murasat. If it wasn't for both of them, I wouldn't have seen this tech and I wouldn't have done the labbing to figure out what the angle was. I am a Smashbox user, so it was a lot easier for me to get consistent than it would be on the joystick. But if we can get that consistent with notches on the GameCube, I think this would be a very viable technique for any ice climbers to use. Just take some practice. I got relatively consistent with it, just maybe an hour or 2 of testing. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you want to like, subscribe, whatever, I might come out with some more videos if there's more angles I can find for more desyncs or just different Smashbox tech, stuff like that. So thank you.